Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel for today's video. And guys, today I got one that I've never talked about before on any of my channels. We're going to be talking about fishing this big 7-inch Keitech swim bait. Now, most people are familiar with the Keitech, like the 2.4 inch, which is about that big, or the 3-inch, but this is the big mama, guys. This is the biggest one they make, 7-inch Keitech. Two different techniques I want to share with you guys about how this thing works and catches some good fish, so we'll get into that in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, just a quick invitation. I'd like to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here to The Fishing Teacher. Free and easy to do so. We also got channel memberships. And also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that's taken time to get one of my Fish of the Moment lake map breakdowns. If you haven't had a chance to check them out, this is a great resource to learn more about your favorite lake, and I'll link my lake map breakdown link in the description of this video if you want to get one there, so appreciate that. Okay, guys, this is the big Keitech here. I'll link this in my Tackle Warehouse link if you guys want to pick up a couple bags of it. It's a very unique lure. It's super big. The thing is like probably three quarters of an inch thick. It's a thick bait, big swim bait, big giant swim bait. Got a big fat tail on the thing of it. It's actually bigger than a 6-inch meg draft. This is a 7-inch long bait here. And there's two different ways I want to talk about fishing this based upon time of the year and the situation that you're into. Now, the first one, guys, is you want to fish it just on a jig head, some type of a jig head with like a 4/0 hook in there. I'll link a couple in that Tackle Warehouse link in the description. And I'll sort of rig one up here and just rig it through the top there. You know, you got a little channel on the top of that Keitech. Come through about halfway or so. And this is just going to be a typical big oversized jig swim bait setup like this. And this is a really good way to catch them, guys, when the fish are on deeper structure. So you can take this big Keitech here on like a 1/2 ounce head, and if you're catching fish on like main lake points or river ledges or drop-offs, anything like that, that you're fishing like, say, a deep diving crankbait on, you're dragging a football head jig, or you know, you're throwing a Carolina rig on, any type of offshore structure where the fish are out sort of in that 10 to 30 foot zone, take this big 7-inch Keitech, guys, throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, and just slowly crawl it just off the bottom there. You want to keep it just a couple inches off the bottom. And normally what I'll do is I'll throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, and once it hits the bottom, I'll start reeling. And as you're reeling, it's going to come off the bottom a couple inches. And if I lose contact with the bottom, I always want to take time, let it drop back down to the bottom, because that gives me an idea how far the bait is off the bottom. And you really don't want this thing over about 6 or 8 inches off the bottom. So if you lose contact with the bottom, just stop reeling, let it hit the bottom, reel it again. And so it's sort of going like this a little bit, coming up, and you're going like that. And guys, those fish on those deeper structures will hammer this thing, especially as a mop-up lure. Let's say, for example, you've caught a couple on a big crankbait, a couple on a Carolina rig, a couple on a football head jig, maybe you catch a couple on a 10-inch worm, and then they start biting or they slow down. Throw the big Keitech in there, guys, in that same type of water. They'll definitely bite the thing. And it's really, really good in the early summer, late spring, summertime when they're deeper structure fish. Okay, now the other way I like to fish it, and I do it about 50-50, is take it and put it on an offset hook, like just some type of an offset worm hook. This one's too small here. I'd recommend like a 5 or 6/0 hook. And this is going to be for fishing shallow with it. Now, you're gonna put it on like this, come through the top there. I'll just, for rigging purposes, it's just gonna be the EWG hook in it, completely weedless. And guys, this is an excellent bait to fish around any type of shallow vegetation. If you got hydrilla, milfoil, pads, anything like that, shallow vegetation, guys, they will hammer this thing, fishing it like that, just basically fishing it just like an inch or two under the surface, and also on any type of shallow hard structure in lakes that don't have grass. So you can take this same thing, the big Keitech, throw it next to a lay-down tree and just reel it a couple inches under the water next to that lay-down tree. Throw it next to the side of a boat dock, just reel it, you know, that far underneath the boat dock. Any type of place where you think there's a bass in, if the water has got some decent clarity. So for the Keitech to work, I have seen, in my own opinion, you need at least about 2.5 foot of visibility. If you don't have maybe 2 foot or so if it's a bright day. Let's say 2 foot of visibility on a sunny day. And then if it's cloudy, maybe 3 to 4 foot of visibility. But perfect scenario for this, let me give you 2 perfect scenarios for both the weedless application and for the jig head application. Jig head application, this is what I'd want. I'd want water visibility of at least 2 foot, something like that, 2 to 5 foot clarity when those fish are on deeper structures. So it's going to be like sort of mid-May into September is going to be a good time frame for it, particularly on lakes that have a lot of drop-offs and ledges, like the TVA lakes. Any type of river type lake is going to be good on it, on the ledges and drops, and then on the points, just any type of man-made impoundment. Anytime that you feel those fish are in like 10 to 30 foot of water. Now for the other up here, it's really good in any type of water clarity over 2 foot. Perfect condition would be for me if I could have like, say 3 to 4 foot of visibility with some type of shallow grass. It could be pads, gator grass, hydrilla milfoil, whatever, reeling that thing over the top of that grass. Or if it's hard structure like laydowns or docks or something like that, about 2 foot of visibility. Works good in all different light conditions. I've caught them on rainy days, cloudy days, sunny days, doesn't seem to matter. And just use a slow retrieve, some type of a slow medium retrieve like that. Adjust your rod tip height as far as the angle of the rod. Let's say, for example, you throw it out there, let it hit the water, and right off the bat, if you're out there ways, keep the rod tip high, because if you're trying to fish it shallow, you want it coming about 6 inches under the water. Keep it high like this, and then lower your rod tip as it gets closer back to the bank. And of course, if you're letting it go to the bottom, it's a different story there. But I like to, like I said, keep it less than a foot deep or something like that. But anyway, guys, it's just a bait a lot of people don't fish. Again, I'll link it in my Tackle Warehouse link, the 7-inch version of the Keitech. I think it's called the Fat Impact. I'm pretty sure the name of it, but I'll link it in the description there. So hope it helps you guys catch a few. And also, guys, line pound test. Let me talk a little bit about that. If I'm fishing it deep, like, with a 1/2 ounce jig head, I'm usually using 15-pound test, Seaguar and VizX. And if I'm fishing it shallow, around visible targets, I'm usually using 17 to 20-pound test, Seaguar and VizX. So anyway, hope it helps you guys catch some good ones, and we'll talk later.